and welcome to this Barbados Government Information Service feature when we speak to Dr. Kevin Greenwich. He is a senior economist at the International Monetary Fund, and he is a Barbadian back in Barbados to work with us through this period that we are going through currently. But let's start by finding out a little bit more about Dr. Greenwich. Thank you for being a part of this program, sir.
Thanks, Lisa. And it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Okay. Now start by telling me a bit about yourself. Who is Dr. Kevin Greenwich?
That's a tough one. I would begin by saying I'm a full Barbadian young man just trying to do my best and contribute to my country. But in terms of me, I grew up in Black Rock most of my life and went to Island School. That's where I did my O-levels. And from Island School, I went on to Harrison College, did my A-levels there. Actually, hadn't even studied economics. I studied the usual stuff, maths, you know. Probably wasn't even sure what I wanted to do. And from there, I went to university and did management. And while doing management, I realized, hey, I'm pretty good at this economic stuff. So I gravitated towards that. Graduated from university with a first in economics. Joined the central bank as an intern, worked my way through. And during that time, I then went off. I got a scholarship to Cambridge. I did my master's in Cambridge and my doctorate at Nottingham University. And in terms of my career, I spent 17 years at the central bank. The last couple was director of the economics research department. And then I went off to join the IMF. I was there for 7 years. And that's it in a nutshell. You know. In terms of social activities, I play chess. Used to play chess with Barbados. I went to a couple Olympiads. This is like the Olympics of chess. Sounds boring, but it can be quite taxing. I dance. I'm a very good dancer. But you know, ballroom and Latin, by the way. So I was at I started here in modern ballroom dancing in Black Rock, but really got good at it when I was at Cambridge. I was on the university dancing team. So I'm not just an economist or a nerd, but I have that.
So what led you to move from central bank to the IMF? I mean, most people, when they think IMF, they think, oh, you know. What made you leave central bank to go to the IMF?
Well, my education and training had, of course, a domestic part. I did my first degree in Barbados, and then I did my master's and PhD overseas. And I always felt inside that my training and career should be somewhat like that. I said to myself I should, you know, do some work in Barbados, but also be great to go and work in a national institution somewhere. And in terms of being an economist, working at International Monetary Fund is perhaps one of the highest levels you can go. It is the architect of the international financial system, and you find persons from all walks of life at the top of their game working there. So that was my desire, and I went after it.
Are you aware that Barbados has engaged the IMF? And if yes, what do you think about this?
Well, yes. I don't think it's a good idea, but I guess they ain't gonna do what they ain't gonna do. That's basically it.
Why don't you think
I think unnecessary control, man. It's too much stipulations as far as the IMF, man. A lot of changes in the law. A lot of changes I don't think will be favorable for the people of the country. I think everybody know that any intervention from the IMF is usually leave a bitter taste, actually. You know what I mean? So IMF don't just give money like that. You know what I mean? Once you get the money or the funds from IMF, something gonna happen. Something gonna give. So usually the backlashes affect the poorer or the lower classes of people.
Now, I don't think everybody really understands the IMF. So you have the inside scoop. Break it down for us. What really is the IMF, and do you think Barbadians understand it?
I would have thought that most persons in the Caribbean fully understand the IMF. We've had quite a colorful history with the IMF over the years. Jamaica, more so than any other Caribbean country, Guyana, Trinidad. And Barbados have had two encounters or relationships with the IMF. One in 1992, which most of us are familiar with, but one back in the early 70s. What's the IMF? The IMF is an international institution that is charged with protecting the stability of the international financial system. Basically looking at the architect or the overseer of the entire financial system. It is signatory by 186 countries who sign on, and the way it works, they pay a subscription or quota, and the purpose of the International Monetary Fund is to help countries when they get into difficulties, and also put policies and regulation in place to ensure that the international system works well.
Was it difficult for you making the move there based on how some people see? I mean, when we were talking off camera, you mentioned the way how someone termed it to you once in terms of going to the other side.
From a professional point of view, it was not that. I mean, it's hard working, it's consistent work. And there's a culture change. In this environment, everyone is from all over the world, so you have to be much more culturally aware of things that you do. So it wasn't, I mean, yes, from that point of view, and it was very rewarding. It is a rewarding career. In terms of comments, you will hear comments like, you're going to the dark side of the force, or you're going with the enemy. To me, it's a lack of knowledge what the IMF really does. And in that regard, the IMF, we have a saying sometimes when I say we IMF staff, we go to countries, you will hear we say, it's not your great-grandparents' IMF. The IMF will evolve over time. In years past, they were more like prescriptive. The fund was a more, people got the impression, you come to a country, and it was the same prescription for everybody.
One pill.
I remember years ago at university investing, we had a doctor in the guild that doesn't matter what you went for, got a fangs it. 2 days home. So it doesn't matter, you broke your foot, fangs it. And so it was, the IMF was seen kind of that. That's not the IMF today. When countries get in balance payments difficulties, and what do I mean by that? Summary, when countries start to run low on the reserves. Balance payments is the outcome of transactions between what you sell and buy, imports, exports. And you begin to run low on your reserves. Could be for many reasons. International prices collapse, you exporting copper, something happened, tourism, there's 9/11 again, you start getting that. But your reserves start to run low. And because usually there's an underlying reason, the economic difficulties, as the current situation now. And then you approach the IMF. The IMF comes in terms of helping countries, one, with technical assistance in designing policies in terms of coming up with the solutions, how to get the economy back on track. And the focus is on ownership. The countries own it. In case of Barbados, for example, the Barbados now is working on, or have developed, the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program. That's Barbadian-driven development. It's Barbadian-owned. It's not an IMF program. The IMF comes in now and in discussion with the country, goes through the program and see if it is something they can endorse. The endorsement of an institution that have 186 members carries a tremendous amount of weight. Because once the IMF says, well, this program of the country is workable, it can get you out of the situation you're in, it means that other international developers and institutions, World Bank, IDB, in our case CDB, will look on and say, okay, I can invest. And private investors too take the IMF endorsement as a signature that they can go ahead. Things are now corrected on the right track, the country will get all the problems. Right? So that endorsement, which referred to as sometimes, can play a catalytic role in bringing lots of funds and restoring confidence. The IMF will come in and they will go over the elements of the program. And there may be some tweaking depending on to ensure that it's consistent, etc. And then, for example, in the program the Barbados government has developed, we will also set ourselves targets on the fiscal, how to reduce the fiscal, how to get growth going, what to do with SOEs. These are targets we set for ourselves. The IMF takes these targets and we refer them as conditionalities. They become conditions for you to continue to assess and for them to continue to endorse you. But those are the country's own targets that the IMF take. So the fund is not coming, if you take this program, this harsh, no, that's not the story. Then, in addition to that catalytic role coming from that, the fund then also, because now that you have agreed on a program, your program, that will get the country out of whatever was the problem, and it differs country by country. Case of Barbados has been slow growth absolutely no growth for a long period of time, debts have risen to a tremendous level, a real deterioration in economic circumstances, right? But usually it manifests in the external account, balance of payments with absence of reserves. So in order to help support you while you get your adjustment program going, the firm provide financing for the balance of payments, the reserves, which usually goes to the central bank. So immediately reserves come up as whatever amount of money is determined between the authorities and the International Monetary Fund. So it's one, the calculated role. Two will be the balance payment support. And the third is technical assistance during the program, because sometimes what is needed is a transformation. You're doing things differently. You know, sometimes you can't, you know, they say you can't, if you keep on doing the same things you're doing and expect a different outcome, that's the definition of madness, right? So when you understand the role of the fund, there's nothing to fear. In fact, you have to do, this is your program. Let me give you an alternative. This is your program. This is our program, Barbados, right? We have to do what is necessary to put our finances in place, in shape. We have to do what is necessary to get our SOEs fit for purpose, okay? And we have to do what is necessary to broaden the tax base and reduce the burden on any one group. So everybody take a, these are things you have to do. Whether the IMF is wrong, you have to do this, okay? You're going to need some financing. When the IMF provides financing for your BOP to help support it, it comes at a very, very low, maybe 1%, as opposed to you trying to get a loan from somewhere at 10. Right? So you may as well do the adjustment that you need to do and get the support, plus that very much needed calculated role that it plays. Everybody is waiting. In the case of Barbados, we know already development partners are waiting to invest and to do things in Barbados. They just need to know that your framework that you have developed can stand the scrutiny by international institutions like IMF and the endorsement bring. That says you have a coherent macro and fiscal framework. Prime Minister is championing this and working flat out. I come from an environment where we go on mission and we can work 24/7 because you meet with the authorities in there, go through meetings, you gather your data, you go back to your hotel, and then your work now begins because you have to meet tomorrow. There's no room not to be ready. So I have to work through the night. Next day, hire on coffee, I go back, and we can do this for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you get on your plane, or you get 2 days off. Barbados, the Prime Minister has been working at that pace from the time she got in office, literally. And it's almost, you see people struggling to keep up. Even for me, who come from the environment, this is a brisk pace. And this shows a level of commitment that is not common, I tell you. And this is why the international institution, when the Prime Minister announced that she's going to approach a fund for support, the head of the International Monetary Fund, Madame Lagarde, agreed, and the team was down here within because that level of commitment from the highest authority in the country says a lot. So this is a poo-poo adjustment. This is a poo-poo program, this is a poo-poo effort. There's real effort. Truly within the institution, there's no greater honor if you can get to return home to help your own country.
Does that happen very often?
No, because one, we can't work on our own country, only in certain circumstances.
So what is your role then? I don't think there was a role in the early negotiations for you, but what is your role now?
My role is strictly advisor to the government of Barbados, particularly as it relates to everything related to economic program. I'm in an advisory role. I'm here for 2 years. And if at the end of 2 years, the program, I believe Barbados, if we stick to what we're doing, will be well on our way to the prosperity we have enjoyed years before. I believe we can come back to be the cream of the crop in the Caribbean. And if that occurred, I mean, what greater reward can I have in life than that?
Well, I want to thank you very much, Dr. Greenidge, for taking some time to talk with us, and I hope I can hold you to talking with us again, and I hope you learned something as well, and I thank you very much for joining us in this program. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.